Working.
All right, let's just. Is it working now? Test, 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 test. Okay, it's working now. It's this mic. All right, let's just. Is it working now? Test, 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 test. Okay, it's working now. It's this. I'm getting so annoyed. Sorry, guys. I'm getting super annoyed. Test, 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 test. Okay, it's working now. It's this. I'm getting so annoyed. Sorry, guys. Test, test. I'm getting super annoyed. Test, 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 test. Okay, it's working now. It's this. I'm getting so annoyed. Sorry, guys. Test, test. I'm getting super annoyed. Can you hear me now? Testing. This is. I know this is so annoying. I'm getting so annoyed. Sorry, guys. Test, test. I'm getting super annoyed. Can you hear me now? Testing. This is. I know this is so annoying. Okay, right on. It's working. This is the worst live stream ever. You guys are awesome. Thanks. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna jump in on YouTube. I don't know. I was having trouble getting the audio going. I'm gonna jump in on YouTube right now because I'm also streaming live on YouTube. It's working. This is the worst live stream ever. You guys are awesome. Thanks. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna jump in on YouTube. I don't know. I was having trouble getting the audio going. I'm gonna jump in on YouTube right now because I'm also streaming live on YouTube. It's working. Okay. I apologize for you guys that are still watching. This is the messiest. So let's start this over. Okay, let's start this over. Let me do something here. Ready? Hold on here. Okay. Let me move this up here. Let's start this over. 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, welcome to the J Daniel Show. This is a test show. This is a test show. I'm still working on stuff. We're going to talk about the Heisman competition. Man, I'm just really nervous to do this. It's not easy trying to put this tech together. I'm not even sure if this mic's even working. I mean, I did test it, but I'm not sure if it's coming through, and we'll figure this out. I'm going to get me one of those kind of canister mics. But I am simulcasting. I'm live streaming on X. I'm streaming on YouTube and Rumble, where I'm starting this. I'm using the Rumble Studio, so shout out to Rumble. Even though I'm having a lot of trouble, like I'm not feeling good about Rumble today. This has not been easy. I've been working to get. This is like my 4th time I've run a show. It's just really humiliating to not be able to get this going and then stream live, right? Because there's all this pressure on you, but we're figuring it out. Sorry if I sound like I'm complaining. Well, they call me, let's just get to it. They call me Goat Targaryen on X. If you're not sure why, check that, Google it. You can follow me on all socials at Jason J Daniel, and definitely on X or YouTube, wherever you're watching this. Don't forget to smash subscribe. This is a terrible show. Just throw me a bone anyway. I don't have any guests right now. I'm in my robe. It's just kind of coffee talk today. I got my coffee. It's a Sunday. It is a lazy Sunday. Last night was the Heisman. I want to talk about that. I cover sports, politics, current events. Last night we talked about drones on the podcast. Check that out. That was a lot of fun. Again, I do simulcast this. So I start on Rumble Studio. It hits X and it hits YouTube. My thoughts on the Heisman. We'll just get right into it. The Heisman. Last night, the Heisman got hijacked by Deion Sanders and his crew, and they delivered the Heisman to a created and manufactured player, Travis Hunter. Yes, I do know that Travis Hunter has, earned his keep as far as being a player that can be. Sorry, guys, my nose is just. It's just, this is just the worst. The worst podcast ever right now. I'm a disaster. My nose is itchy. I'm all sweaty. My mic wasn't working. So yeah, so back to Travis Hunter. He was manufactured. He was recruited to basically become this guy that Deion Sanders could create. Now, Ashton Jeanty is the guy who should have won the Heisman. He should have won the Heisman. Jeanty is a beast. He's amazing. And what is unfortunate is that he was put in a situation where he did not have the support because he was going to a school that just didn't have that star power that he needed to get over the top. And let me clear up the graphics here. So Jeanty, I'm on. I'm not going to take a lot of time with this, but I did want to jump into it. Jeanty already himself today is saying, "Hey, I should have had that Heisman. I should have walked away with that Heisman." This is Ashton Jeanty right here. I agree with that. I really agree with that. I think that he definitely should have walked away with the Heisman. Why is that? Well, because Jeanty is number one in rushing, running the ball, number one in yards. I think he's already broke the college football record. He's ahead in touchdowns. He has the most touchdowns of a running back. I could be wrong. I'm just kind of throwing this together. Some of these stats are in my head, but I might be a little shaky on them. But he is a total beast. If you've seen him play, I mean, he's like good for 200 yards and at least 2 touchdowns, maybe 3 touchdowns. He is a total beast. So the bottom line is that Travis Hunter is a different skill position, but he plays two positions. One's a skill position, one's a defensive position. I guess you could call it a skill position. It's not an offensive position. He plays wide receiver and then he plays cornerback, but he's not that guy. They call him, and they're trying to make a thing of it. Travis Hunter is not as good as you might think he is if you just keep track of what the media has been jamming down your throat. Jeanty's much better. Jeanty is one of the best running backs. He's beat all of the studs. I mean, his numbers are huge. I think he's about to surpass Barry Sanders. His numbers are insane, but he's a humble guy. Now he's starting to not be as humble as he was before because he realized that worked against him and he got totally fucked when it came to the Heisman. My opinion on the Heisman is that obviously Jeanty should have been number one. I think Dillon probably from Oregon, number 2, or Ward. Ward maybe 4, maybe Hunter 3, but Hunter's not 1 or 2. So Hunter should have not won the Heisman last night, but he did. Why did he do that? Well, he won the Heisman because he has a powerful marketing team behind him, $1 million marketing team, and he has Deion Sanders. And from the very beginning, last year, Deion Sanders did his best to create what happened last night. And that's what Deion does best. Deion is one of the most extreme and fierce marketers in football and in probably the world. I mean, he's like kind of Dana White to a certain extent with football. I mean, look what he did with Jackson State, which was no one thought that would go anywhere. And then he took them to another level and then boom, left them. And now they're terrible again. But he did create a star in his son, both of his sons. Now his quarterback's son, Shakur, is very, very good, but he's not a great football player in college. And I'll tell you why. He hasn't faced a team that's serious. He hasn't faced any of the top 10 teams. They've barely I think top 18, top 50. I think they think they played 15 or 18. Like that's maybe 10. I'm not even sure. I don't even think they've played a team in 2 years that low in the rankings of the AP top 25. So as far as Travis Hunter is concerned, his numbers not even close to Jeanty's, at least on breaking any kind of records. And any records or any accomplishments that you've heard about through Fox News or ESPN or ABC are manufactured. ABC and ESPN are the same. I get that, but the crews are different. It's manufactured. These are all numbers they're creating. These are all numbers that they're just pulling out of the air saying, this stat is this, and there's stats that do not make any sense, not to what's important to college football. And Travis Hunter has had decent numbers, but he's had games where he's been completely shut down. He's had games where he's quit on tackles, games where he pretended to be screened because he wanted to give up on a play. Jeanty never did that. Jeanty is a beast. Jeanty, I think he's number 1 in most carries in college football. He's a workhorse. The guy's going to be a multi-millionaire. So is Travis Hunter. He's going to be a multi-millionaire as well. But Hunter may not have the career that they think he's going to have. Jeanty will have a long career. He is insanely fierce. The guy runs through the tackles. He's brilliant. He has a great college football mind. He's got a great football mind. And Jeanty has played tough teams. Their team, I think, is 12. Boise, they're in the playoffs. He could be looking at a natty. Boise could win the championship. Jeanty's going to have more accolades. Travis Hunter's won a bunch of awards that are pointless awards. They're all pointless awards for a guy who really is undersized and a guy who hasn't had stats against tough teams. Travis Hunter's never played a tough team. He hasn't played a tough team. Sorry about that, guys. I just hit my you may not have saw it, but I just brought something up on the screen. Jeanty's played tough teams. So Travis Hunter's accomplishments, he's never done these accomplishments against or had huge games against good teams that were ranked in the top AP 25. And so that's why I think that you're looking at a situation where marketing got you the Heisman. And if you look at everything going on right now in the media and everything going on this morning when it comes to the Heisman, most everyone is saying Jeanty got robbed, and I totally agree with that. But I think Travis Hunter won fair and square. I'll tell you why. Because it's not about stats anymore, man. Football's not about – it's not about stats, and football's not about winning. That's where I was going with this. Football is about marketing. It's about creating stars. It's about creating money through NIL. It's creating TV stars, and that's what it's about. Jeanty was not promoted like Travis Hunter was because Deion Sanders has massive connections in college football and in pro. He is connected. So he's a great P.T. Barnum for his guys. And Jeanty is a quiet guy. He was not working on a Heisman campaign. Deion Sanders was. Deion knew they weren't going to get into the championship. They knew that they weren't going to get into the playoffs. We all knew that. That team's not talented at all. Not talented at all. Deion has a couple of skilled players. They're not a talented team. He's not a very good coach, but he's one hell of a marketer. And he knew this was his Super Bowl. The Heisman was his Super Bowl. And yes, Hunter has been mentored by T.O., Deion, really, really great pro players, Hall of Fame guys. And he has been able to take the mentoring and activate it. But against mediocre college teams, he's undersized. And they don't need a wide receiver in the NFL. They don't need any more wide receivers. They need good defensive players, but they have plenty. So if Travis Hunter he's now won the Heisman, it elevates his draft status. He's going to be drafted by a very bad team, and they'll be forced to play him early, and he's not going to accomplish anything in his first year. If he does, I'll be stunned because he's undersized. He can't get separation. He's not a good wide receiver. The first half of this year and the last half of last year, he got a lot of calls go his way because he gives you the offensive stiff arm. A lot of his touchdowns were offensive interference, and he got away with it because college football needs a star, and Deion knows these refs inside and out. So I'm not blaming them for taking advantage of the opportunity that came to them. And the Heisman is a different story. It is a different award now. Everything is different in football. Everything's different in sports. I mean, it's wild. It's too political. It's all about marketing. It's all about fantasy football. It's all about statistics. It's all about creating teams that look like they're winners, but they're not winners. I mean, look at the Kansas City Chiefs. You put all their stats are at the lowest. They're like lowest five. Like if you put all the teams together on statistics in the NFL right now, Kansas City is like 28 in stats, but they're winning. They're pulling it out. And that isn't my point specifically today. But my point is that Travis Hunter did not deserve to win the Heisman, but he did deserve to win the Heisman because the campaign worked. He won the Heisman on marketing. Now let's see where it goes. Let's see if NFL teams will buy into the fantasy that he is who they say he is. I mean, his mommy got on the mic and just said, "He is him," which is so cringy. Your mommy saying you are. I mean, really, it's just this is a coddled guy. He's a nice guy. He's got a girlfriend that is now getting media attention. She's running him around by his ear. His mommy runs him around. His girlfriend runs him around. Dion runs him around. Where does Travis Hunter find the time to make his own decisions? He doesn't. He's been completely marketed and manipulated into being this guy. He is not him because he's not in the playoffs. It's easy as that. But that's an old school way of looking at it. Winning is everything, but not anymore. So Jeanty is now saying, like I just showed you earlier, now Jeanty is saying, well, I should have ran away with it. That should have been mine. Well, you should have said it 3 days ago. You should have really been marketing and working on it. Look, Dion knows how to work the votes. He knows it's a system. Dion was confident they were going to win the Heisman because he knew it was a system he could work. All he has to do is pick up the phone and give guys his time. He is a he is worldwide famous. To have a dinner with Dion. Look, he was smoozing the voters. It's all voting. The Heisman's not the best. Look, if it was the best, then there's not 4 guys there. It's just Jeanty. It was the top 4 guys that were the most marketed. I don't even think Cam Ward should have been there, but he was. I think there are better wide receivers, most definitely better wide receivers with better numbers. I mean, look, Texas, Alabama, they've got great quarterbacks. They've got great skill players, great defensive players. So there's a lot of guys with great stories, but Travis Hunter had the most marketable story. Plus, look, ESPN and Fox Sports worship the ground that Dion walks on, the ground that Colorado walked on. Colorado was a bad team to watch on TV. They got almost every game as prime time, and half the games were entertaining. Half of them were. But there were much better teams that deserved that spotlight, but they didn't get it. So if you're complaining about Jeanty and I see it, I'm seeing it all over the internet. If you're upset that Jeanty lost, well, that's just the way it works because he didn't have a marketing crew like Dion did. It's like the Oscars. It's essentially winning the Oscars of sports. It doesn't mean what it used to mean. I mean, look at this. O.J. Simpson won the Heisman. Right? I mean, he was a monster off the field and on the field. He was a monster. They don't play as many games. They play more games, than they used to play. A lot of the Heisman winners became legends in the NFL. That is true. Some of them were close to winning championships. Some of them are legends for not even winning, like Doug Flutie, Tim Tebow, Cam Newton. These guys didn't win, but they're legends. So Dion won the Heisman, of course. He's a champion. So half of the Heisman winners are champions. I mean, OJ, definitely going back to him, was one of the best players of all time. So there are times, and it used to be the best player. I mean, look at Vince Young, right? The best player would win the Heisman, but it didn't mean that would translate into being the best player in the NFL. Sometimes it was very close. But look, I just don't think Travis Hunter has what it takes to stay healthy in the NFL. He's very small. He's undersized. I don't think he can take he can take a hit from smaller guys in college. I just don't think he's going to take a hit and survive from these monsters. Now, guys, I do have, by the way, if you're watching, I do have a chat going. If you comment on YouTube, if you comment on Rumble, if you comment on X, it pops up in my chat. I can see them all together. So thank you for even just watching. I know there are guys and gals watching right now live, and I appreciate it. If you're watching it live, thank you. Again, I appreciate you watching. Please follow me and subscribe. This is a lot of fun. It's not like I'm getting paid to do it, but I'm doing my best to make it, I guess, worth our while. So follow me at XSnap, IG, Rumble, YouTube. Please subscribe. If you're watching this on any of the platforms, please follow me or subscribe. I would really appreciate it. So where do we go from here? Man, where do we go from here? The Heisman was hijacked, but I'm not talking about one time. I'm talking about this is the future of the Heisman. It will be the best player that is marketed, the guy that can make you the most money. I mean, they just took it they got very cringy, and they've celebrated really hard in front of Jeanty, and I could see why he was upset this morning and why he was saying, well, I should have ran away with it. Now he has an attitude. I would totally have an attitude. Look, but it's gone. So Jeanty, you get your team ready. You become a leader, which I know you can do it. You guys win the Natty. Now it's going to be tough to beat Texas, but it's cool. My Texas is my team. I love me some Boise, though. Win the championship, win the Natty, prove to all the doubters that you are the guy. And that, to me, that goes farther than getting the award. People thinking you got robbed of the award, I think is much more powerful. And a lot of people this morning are already just devaluing Travis Hunter, saying he didn't deserve it. And he didn't. Numbers wise, he should, my opinion, should have been there. In fact, a lot of people didn't think he was even going to be there, but at the last minute, somehow he got there because Deion pulls strings. But that is how you win. So don't blame Hunter or Deion for playing the game right. There's two games. There's the intangible game outside of the game you see, and then there's the actual physical game. Look, talent is everything, but it's not the way you win. Sorry, my mouse is coming off here. Talent is not how you win. It's how you apply the business rules. How do you play the rules of the intangible game? That's what separates the winners from the losers. So most people didn't know Jeanty until last night, probably, if you're just a random person that doesn't keep track of college football. There are a lot of football fans that don't pay attention to college football. They just pay attention to NFL, or vice versa, because it's too much football, it's too many games, it's too many players. Now it's such a big marketing thing, especially with the NIL. A lot of people are turned off from college because the guys act like Shedeur Sanders, the whole thing, in your face, cursing at other quarterbacks, being nasty. I will say this, Shedeur Sanders is not, I would say, a player that you could respect at this point. He devalues and he's nasty and mean to his opponents. That's just disrespectful to the game. His dad is not like that. A lot of people would say Deion's not like that. Deion is, he will scoreboard on you. Deion will pose on you when he wins. He will celebrate on you because it's proper when you win. Celebrate hard when you win, but don't disrespect your opponent. Shedeur disrespects his opponents. Travis Hunter's not like that. I like that about Travis Hunter. Look, he doesn't get in trouble. He's a good guy. None of the guys in Colorado get in trouble, which I think is impressive. There's a lot of things you can say about Deion Sanders that's very impressive. You don't have to like Deion. Look, Deion started getting into the race game. He started getting into woke politics last year because they were losing and he needed to distract. Yes, it turned off a lot of people because he was starting to make excuses. That's not like Deion, but that pressure of going to Colorado and the worldwide pressure of delivering a championship, which he couldn't do. He's not going to do. It's not going to happen in Colorado. And I think he knows it. He had to pivot to what is the next best thing? Making stars. He is a star maker. Deion's a star maker. And if you followed Colorado in the beginning, you were really impressed with what Deion was doing. I was. He was very humble. He was, had the, Jesus was his guiding light. He was going through health problems. Deion's story was very inspirational, but then they started losing after all the hype and the Lil Wayne and The Rock, and it turned into WWE, and he couldn't sustain the hype because he was losing. So in order to divert people from seeing that you have failure going on, which that's hard to do when you have such a big ego, I get that, you create excuses for losing. So that's what he did. And a lot of the excuses were the media and the way we're treating us. And, we're keeping receipts and all this stuff. It turned a lot of people off. But then Deion realized, okay, we've got something with Hunter. Travis came back after the offseason. He was still in his mode of being successful. They had a tougher schedule this year, but they had a favorable one because they weren't playing anybody that was ranked until towards the end. The most important game that Colorado played was against a 4-6 team, and they got smoked when they were riding high. They had a winning streak. They were playing really well. I was giving them credit, and they got smoked. Travis Hunter got shut out, left the game early, smoked. That never happened to Boise. Never happened to Jeanty. That doesn't happen to top-ranked teams. Now, sometimes, but not like this. And their momentum crashed, and so then it began, okay, we're not getting in the playoffs. Not going to happen. We're going to get a loser bowl, which they're going to play in the Alabama Alamo Bowl, which is the loser bowl. And who knows if all their stars will play, because now that you got these guys ready to go to the NFL, obviously Hunter is going to have to jump to the NFL. He's not prepared, but he's got to. They've put him in that situation where he has to. He's probably not going to play in the Alamo Bowl. So it's going to be a bad game. It's over. Their season's over. Dion knows it, so he had to pivot. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. He had to pivot to creating the Heisman experience, and boy, did they. And they just celebrated. And that was the weirdest. I watched the entire ceremony. Most of it is really weird. It was hard to hang in there. It was, it had this funeral vibe, this weird vibe, and now I know why, because it was already predetermined and everybody there knew it. So when Hunter gets up there and then screams and acts kind of like weird and says a lot of weird stuff that didn't make a lot of sense to me. Then his mommy got on the mic and then Lil Wayne was involved. Weird stuff. I think it turned a lot of people off, and it made people go, hey, he doesn't have the stats, but he has the hype. And then they went outside and he's walking around Times Square with it. All that stuff probably just made Jeanty very, very mad, and now he's going to use that as motivation. I say, hey, win the Natty. At this point, it's over. We're going to not talk about Heisman anymore. Travis Hunter got it. He doesn't deserve it, but let's just talk about the Natty. Boise win the championship. If Jeanty wins the Natty, which he certainly can, that team is a good team, and he's good for 3 or 4 touchdowns. Just Jeanty, man, he could shred all those teams they're going to play in the playoffs, or the potential teams. Every team in the playoffs, Boise can beat. So I don't think they're going to do it, but I mean, hey, anything's possible. I didn't think Michigan was going to do it last year, but they pulled it out. It's possible. If you do that, that's all you need to do to prove to everybody you should have won the award. And like I said earlier, sometimes it's much more powerful to have people go, man, he should have won the award, versus people saying, oh, well, Travis Hunter deserved it. I think it's a lot more powerful to be like the runner-up that people are bitter over. And I think he should take advantage of that. So I've talked almost a half hour. That's kind of my thoughts on it. I have a lot of thoughts. But yeah, I do think it was hijacked, but I don't think it was hijacked just for one season. I think this is it. It's over. It's going to be who's the most marketable player, but that's what the NFL is pretty much. I mean, look at the Chiefs. They're bad. They're bad. The NFL has cheated to get them to where they're at. They played a decent game today, but they're still bad. Teams that are bad can 3-10 team gave the Chiefs a little bit of a heart palpitation. Travis Kelce is clearly at the end of his career. Clearly, I think Mahomes is really circling the drain statistically, which is so weird. That wasn't the point of this talk. But look, it's marketing. It's not about the best team. It's not about the best stats anymore. It's about the team that these organizations can make the most money on. Travis Hunter is now the guy they can make the most money on. I mean, Buffalo Wild Wings today announced the Travis Hunter combo. It's crazy. I mean, what is that? I'll order that combo. It means I'm the third best player, and do I get a fake plate with a better? But there's a combo that's much better that I didn't order. The guy's a third place player. Colorado's a losing team. They didn't lose. They had a winning schedule, but they're overall a losing team. Hey, what's up, Kevin? Hi, Miss Betty. Okay. I like this, guys. Thanks for joining on YouTube. I'm watching your comments. I'll respond. I was just about to wrap, but thanks. Kevin says Travis did deserve it, though. Tell me why. Everybody disagrees with you, Kevin. Thanks for watching. You are saying that Travis didn't do something we have never seen before. It's never about the best stats. Kevin, we have seen this before. Charles Woodson, and he was much better at it. We have seen it before. But Kevin, my question to you is, does it mean something when you do it against ranked teams versus doing it against unranked teams? And what did he do before that we've never seen before? A lot of guys could do that, but he's the only guy that was forced to do it. Sure, he had the ability to do it. He had the stamina. They put a lot of money into his recovery. He's doing all the stuff that NFL guys do. He's being coached. And T.O.'s a very good coach. Dion's incredible as far as Hall of Famers are concerned. How are they a losing team? Now you're asking me why? How are they a losing team? Colorado, look at their numbers last year to their numbers this year, and they're not in the playoffs. That's called a losing team in college football. Alabama's a losing team. They didn't make the playoffs. So that's my point. Miss Betty, thank you for saying hi to me. Nice. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And I appreciate you disagreeing with me, Kevin. He was not. I'm not sure what that means, Kevin. He was not. Yeah, but when I say they're a losing team, well, what's their record? What is their record? There are a few games over 500. That's a losing team in college football. Do you know that in college football, you can have 10 wins and 1 loss and you're still a losing team? So I think you have to just look at it's not like the NFL. A losing team does not do the Alabama Bowl. That's my point. Did you look at last year for Colorado? They were a very bad team last year. They won more games this year, but they lost against a 4-6 team that was ranked. You don't do that in college football and be a winning team. Hey, Miss Betty. I really appreciate you guys for watching. So, Kevin, not to be argumentative, but I appreciate your comments. A lot of people love Travis Hunter, and that's okay. But I'm just telling you, he didn't deserve statistically to win it, but he did deserve to win it by marketing. So I'm not saying that it's bad that he won it. I think it's great. And I was saying earlier, you probably didn't catch this on the live stream, Kevin, but I was saying earlier that, hey, my hats off to Dion and hats off to Lil Wayne and hats off to Travis Hunter, hats off to them. I think he deserved it because they marketed him to it, but he didn't deserve it statistically. Things have changed. That's all I'm saying. So we both agree that he deserved it, but we agree that he deserved it 2 different ways. And this happens all the time with Colorado fans. They hate me, and I get that. Because I'm hard on Colorado because I expect a lot out of that team. And people are mad at me when I give them props or when I criticize them. Same thing with Eagles fans, for example. When I have almost 8,000 followers on TikTok. I do a sports show, so check out my TikTok, Jason J Daniel. Real Jason J Daniel, sorry. When I criticize Eagles fans, they hate me. When I give them props, they hate me. And Chiefs fans the same way. You guys just need to understand not everyone's going to agree with you. You don't need to hate them, but they may have a different opinion than you have. I just expect a lot out of Colorado. That's all I'm saying. So, well, guys, I appreciate it, man. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for following me. Thanks for watching and following this tonight. I will say to you that you can follow me on IG, Snap, Rumble. I'm streaming through Rumble Studio, as you can see. YouTube, Jason J Daniel on X. If you're watching this, you're watching one of my live streams, so I really appreciate it. I would appreciate you subscribing. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate you telling me I'm wrong, because of course I can be wrong. I just feel like in this case, I'm kind of right. So again, follow me on X, Snap, IG, Rumble, YouTube, and give me a shout out. I'll shout you out back. I'll shout you back. It sounds kind of weird. I'll shout you out back. And I am also on TikTok. So if you're interested, TikTok's about to get banned, which is weird, but I do a couple of shows a week. So thanks for following and checking out my podcast. I do politics, sports, and current events. We did a show last night on the drones. So anyway, you guys are awesome. Thanks so much for watching. And I'm going to sign off, but have a great day. See you at the next show. Bye now.